Welcome to this overview of Moses for Mere Mortals, a machine translation chain for the real world. What is Moses for Mere Mortals? It is a machine translation package intended to be user-friendly and understandable by users with no background in computational linguistics or computer science. That is why it was called For Mere Mortals. It makes available the state-of-the-art open-source statistical machine translation system Moses, which is a system used in research and in commercial and public MT applications all over the world. With it, you can create a machine translation chain for your real work with small or large corpora in a domestic 1000 euro PC. You can do it in a few hours or days, depending on the size of your corpus and on the capacity of your computer. You can test almost any language pair. We have tested it with the EU official languages and it works without any major problems. This set of scripts that you see in this figure, they were developed by João Rosas, and I was a tester together with Hilário Leal Fontes. These scripts are not fancy, but they work, and as we have used them to train 12 million segment corpora and to translate thousands and thousands of pages in a real production environment without major problems. These scripts were published for the first time in November 2009 and have been updated since then. You can download these scripts from the GitHub website just by googling for Moses for Mere Mortals and selecting this option. I suggest that you start by downloading the tutorial to have an idea how Moses for Mere Mortals works, besides seeing the videos, of course. To download the tutorial, you just click on Tutorial, PDF, and you can either view it or you can download it by clicking on RAW and downloading it to your computer. In this video, I will try to explain what is Moses for Mere Mortals, what is Moses, the machine translation system, the Linux version that you have to use to work with Moses for Mere Mortals, and the corpora you will need to train your engines. In the next videos, I will explain how to install Moses for Mere Mortals, how to run the Moses for Mere Mortals demo, and I suggest that you really run the demo to check that everything was correctly installed, to prepare corpora, to train the system, how to train a language pair with Moses for Mere Mortals, how to prepare documents to be translated, and how to translate the documents. If you want also, there is to score the output of Moses, you can run the script on scoring, which will give you an automatic evaluation of MT output. So the first thing you need is, of course, a computer, and these are the minimum requirements. Of course, if you just want to run the demo or try it with a very small corpus, you can do it in any computer with the Linux operating system. But if you really want to train corpora with millions of segments, you will need some computer capacity. So this is the pyramid of what you need to use Moses for Mere Mortals. So we'll start with the operating system Linux. So If you don't have Ubuntu in your computer, you will have to install the 64 bits distribution, which is available for free on the internet. We have tested Moses for Me Mortals with Ubuntu 14.04, which is a long-term support release until April 2019. We have also tested it with this other one, which is already no longer supported. If you use any other version, you'll have to see if everything works. I suggest that you don't complicate things and use this version. If you have another operating system, you can install Ubuntu as dual booting, so that you can use both systems. And if you want, you can install it also in a VirtualBox, but in that case you won't be able to train a very large corpora. It depends on what you want to do. Here is some information that is available on the tutorial if you want to know more about Linux and Ubuntu, and of course there is a huge amount of information on it on the internet. So now about data. So to train a statistical machine translation system, the first thing you need is data. The ideal is to have your own translations that you have done in the past, and which will therefore have your own documents with your own terminology and your own style. If you don't have, which is probably the case, the amount of data necessary to train a statistical machine translation system, you can complement it with the corpora freely available on the internet. There are the corpora from the EU which have been published over the years and which are, cover all the EU official languages. So, and they are easily available, and I'll explain it in another video. From my point of view, as we are the providers, we translators are the providers of the raw materials to train statistical machine translation systems, it is only fair that we can use that work in with the computational means as affordable as a 1,000 euro computer, and an acceptable amount of time and effort, of course. So, the main thing afterwards to have is, of course, the Moses machine translation system. So this is their web page. Here you have all the information, all the links, all the videos, but it is really not for mere mortals to install Moses directly. Moses depends on other components to complete the machine translation chain. And in Moses for Mere Mortals you have as word aligner Giza Plus, as language models ERSTLM and RandLM, and scoring metrics you have even some more than those in this slide. Other useful tools are not available on Moses for Mere Mortals for the reasons I'll explain later. So, since installing and using such a sophisticated MT system is probably a scary idea for those that are non-experts, we try to guide you in a soft way by including a section on what makes Moses tick, which gives a simplified overview of basic concepts on statistical machine translation in general and Moses in particular. There is also a section on further reading and videos, some websites that we have selected with interesting information, but of course you may find many other things on the internet. We hope that with the tutorial and these videos you will better understand the instructions in the tutorial, and that you will understand why sometimes the empty output is so good and other times so bad. and be careful and watch out for pitfalls. So this is the list that is included in the tutorial, with links to information. You can see that at your leisure if you want. So after having this pyramid, we needed to have Moses for Me Immortals, the series of scripts I already mentioned, and to easily work with this huge statistical machine translation system. So what these are the scripts that are included in the Moses for Me Immortals package, and they allow you to install Moses in just with a click, to make test files from a corpus, and also make tuning files if you don't have separate files for that purpose, to train the language pairs of your choice, to translate your documents, and if you want to do automatic scoring or to have an idea of the level of performance of Moses. You can also transfer the engine to another location or to another computer, and this might be interesting if you want to have your own portable machine translation system as training corpora, and if they are large corpora. It is not very easy to do in a portable computer unless it is a very powerful one, but the translation process you can do it in any laptop, so this is an interesting feature. So this is the explanation of the scripts, and there are also two other applications that we call the add-ins, which allow to extract corpora from TMX files, probably what you will that you have from your CAT tool for your own translations, and also to convert the corpora available on the internet, which are also in TMX files. Afterwards, you can translate, after translating the documents, you can convert the Moses output into a TMX file to be used in your CAT tool. Another interesting thing is the demonstration corpus that is included in the package, 200,000 segments of from PT into English, and you can just run this demo to check that everything was alright. So what you can do with Moses for Me Immortals is to train engines with the phrase-based machine translation. This means that you don't need any specially processed corpora. This is a kind of training that already gives useful results for a substantial number of language pairs, and it is the basis of worldwide known machine translation systems. What you cannot do is to do trainings, let's say hybrid machine translation, because that really requires a substantially increased computer capacity and time to train the corpora, and also it is a much more complex process, both in terms of pre-processing of corpora and afterwards the training of the systems. If you really want to have factor training, hierarchical phrase-based or syntax-based machine translation, then you'll have to download Moses itself or find any other solution. It is true that for target languages that are morphologically rich, this hybrid system may give better results, but it is really not for mere mortals for the moment. Just as an example, you can see here the results, what you need for and what you get with the 3.5 million segment corpus. that we use in examples in the tutorial with Corpora from English into Portuguese. So this is the free disk space that you need and the final size of the training. The time it's from 1 day to 2 days, it depends on your computer power. And the BLUS core, don't be excited, because this is a test corpus with in-domain data, so the results in real life for entirely new documents, unless you have very repetitive documents, the results will be lower or much lower. So, although Moses for Me Immortals is meant for users that are not experts in machine translation, you can nevertheless define some settings in the train and translate scripts, and you already have lots of parameters that will give you millions of combinations probably. Don't be scared, because the huge majority of settings you don't even want to look at them. You can just accept the defaults, and even then produce Moses translations that might be useful for you. Just read parts 1 and 2 of the tutorial if you don't want to go that far. As I said, there is the demo with the 200,000 segments, Portuguese, English. This is just for you to check if everything is all right, if the installation had no problems, and so that when you train your own Corpora, if there is a problem, you will know that it is not the system, it is probably the corpus that has some characters that are not recognized, or some other problems. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this will help you to use machine translation for your work, and if you want, you can see the next videos.